Good afternoon, everybody. I'm seeing just a few people online. I'm hoping that it picks up as we continue. Welcome to the very first episode of Making Moves. My name is Kathrina Simon, and I'm going to be your host for this evening and for a couple evenings to come, because making moves is something we definitely want to highlight. Persons who are doing well, persons who have new feature stuff that are going on, and we want to celebrate them. We want to celebrate the good stuff in a world where there's so much negative. We want to celebrate the good stuff, and we want to celebrate all of those persons who are definitely making moves. And one such person is someone that I'm about to have a conversation with, and I'm super excited. Mr. Dov Simens, are you there? All right. Hey, are you hearing me? All right, so we're just going to work out a few technical difficulties here, but we're super excited. Oh, there he is. There he is. Welcome, Mr. Simens. Are we getting audio? Are you hearing me? Hey, it is so good to have you on. Guys, we have with us Mr. Dov Simens. Now, if you search the internet for this gentleman's name, words like expert and guru and just a veteran in the industry of filmmaking are some of the things that you're going to see pop up. And we're so excited to see him and to have him conversate with us this evening on making films in the Caribbean. He is an amazing teacher, has given tutelage to persons like Will Smith and Queen Latifah and just some really amazing persons in Hollywood. And we are so incredibly thankful that you are spending some time with us this evening. And I just want to jump right into it. Is that okay?
It's my pleasure, but with the wonderful stuff that you told me about, could you call my wife and tell her also?
Oh Lord. I mean, I'm sure she knows. I mean, you're the author of From Real to Deal, and that's such a popular and well-acclaimed book. You have so many titles to your name, so many awards. You are an accredited and acclaimed filmmaker and one of the best. So I'm sure she knows that.
It's my wife. Let's get to nuts and bolts, though. Hi.
Send the number. I just want to jump right into it. And before we even start talking about the mark that you've made in the industry, I want to start with the man behind the vision, behind all of this great work. Where did it start for you, Mr. Simens? I mean, this is over 30 years in this industry. Where did it all start?
It really started in 1970 when I started a bookstore. I owned a bookstore for 10 years. And I learned properties, stories from the bookstore. And then I thought I could transcend into Hollywood, middle age crisis. So I bought or optioned the rights to a couple of books, moved down to Los Angeles, quote, Hollywood, spent about 2 years naively, romantically chasing the deal when I really didn't understand the business. Remember, it's called show business. It's not called show art, but I became what's called a development executive and an independent reader starting off. I read about 1,000 to about 1,200 screenplays. In those days, we were paid $25 to $35 to read a script and do what's called coverage, a 2-page book report that we give to the executive above us. And if we thought the script was perfect or great, then the executive above us would read the script. So I spent about 3 years reading scripts. And I don't fall in love with typing just because somebody says I have the script.
Yes.
Then I stumbled into film production with a guy that you may not know, but his name is Roger Corman, Corman,
Mhm.
nicknamed King of the Bees. He made over 700 feature films over 30 years, and everyone made a profit, but they were the tacky movies, close to no budget. But they always had some title like the word blood, zombie, slime, nightmare, fatal, final, instinct, massacre somewhere in the title. And I became his production manager and eventually a title called line producer. So I learned really, I know what everything cost. I don't hear the theory. I wrote the checks to get the crew, to get the cameras, to get the equipment, to get the locations. I didn't hire the director, but I made sure the director understood the budget and the schedule and stayed on schedule, stayed on budget, which obviously he or she never really liked me, but we got every movie done on budget, on schedule. And then after 3 years of reading and a couple of years of line producing, somebody at UCLA Film School asked me to give a class. Oh, sure, I'd love to. And I didn't realize, but it became very successful for UCLA.
Yeah.
And then a year later, somebody at USC Film School said, would you come over to our film school and give your class? And it's business. They paid me 5 times more than UCLA would pay me. Boy, I was going in 30 minutes. And USC. Then the next year, somebody, during this time, I'm reading scripts and I'm line producing. And then somebody at NYU, New York University, asked me to come to New York to give the class. And wow, they paid me even more than USC plus flight and hotel. And then after about 3 years of doing this part-time, I then entrepreneured and started doing the class and the course myself, sort of called the 2-day film school. But I went to the secondary cities. I went to places like Portland, Denver, Cleveland, Miami, Seattle, etc., Houston, and put on the class. And then it just kept growing and growing. And then over the next 25 years, I put on about 1,000 film seminars, workshops, and I started film schools and film programs in 30 nations.
Wow.
And I have a whole lot of people. I can't teach art. This is for adults.
Yes.
This is not for children. I can't teach art. Art is important. Talent is important. I don't know how to teach it, but I can teach you the nuts and bolts and how to make your first independent feature film
Right.
on budget, on schedule, and get it done. And with that, people like Quentin Tarantino took the class and then went on. Spike Lee, Baz Luhrmann, Guy Ritchie, Will Smith, Queen Latifah. And again, I did not teach them talent. They have it. You can't teach talent. But the people that really have it, not desire, not wishful thinking,
that actually have it.
that unusual thing that's called talent.
Yeah.
I then can give them the nuts and bolts to make their first feature film.
Wow.
And
Do you ever think back to, when you were just starting off and then you think, wow, I worked with Quentin Tarantino or I worked with Will Smith, and be like, wow, dog, you really did it.
Again, I just entrepreneured and kept teaching. I found out I liked it.
Yes.
I made a nice living doing it.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to be romantic about it. It's business. And I have a wife, I have children, I have college, I have a mortgage, or I had. That I liked it. I have the information. And when I give the class, I love seeing all the adults in the class with their eyes going, oh, I got it. I got it. Oh. And then at the end of the class, they just say, thank you. You gave me the kick in the butt that I need. I now know what to do. And now it's up to me. And probably the first thing I tell everybody is stop making shorts. There's dumb.
That would be one of my questions, because I was thinking that when you're starting off in filmmaking, that you start with short films and then you graduate to bigger films.
Yeah, if you're 8 years old.
Oh man. So you're saying
not
no.
at your age.
Okay.
So
Okay.
name me one short. There were probably 100,000 shorts made last year with fair budgets. Name me one of them that sold, that made money.
I can't tell you one that I actually even remember.
Does that sound like a good business plan to start your career? To go and make your first thing and go broke?
Understood. Completely agreed. Completely
So
agreed.
let's make a feature film that you can handle, sort of like the short. I make it a joke, but it's the correct information. Get your script, 90 pages, take the story, take 8 kids to a house and chop them up. And that's a feature film, a 1, 2, or 3 week shoot. Now let's see you do it with talent, uniquely different. And somehow that gets out there. That's a feature film. By the way, the horror genre does sell a little easier going international because it's not based on dialogue. But you don't have to do a horror film for the first one. But it's basically a dressed up stage play, a courtroom drama. 8 people, 1 location, keep it simple. A lot of talking.
Yeah. What I love about your story is that you spend so much work understanding the details, because you were actually in the nitty-gritty of it. You were in every part of the process involved in depth, that you understand the details that it takes to actually go from start to finish. Everything from getting the idea to writing the script to you now getting investors to editing to getting it promoted to even pitching to festivals and selling it to an international market. You are experienced in every aspect. So I want to ask, in terms of, is there any secret element, any formula when it comes to pitching internationally? What are the folks out there looking for? What is Hollywood looking for in terms of material?
It's going to be the same cliche that everybody says, the great story. Now wait, now let's do a great story, knowing you have very little to almost no money. You have a wonderful location called the Caribbean, or for yourself, Trinidad and Tobago, or the port. But let's come up with a 90-page, 1 location, dressed up stage play. That's what you start with. And there are only 2 types of scripts. Once it's written, it's either, don't send me a script and say it's wonderful, people like it. I'll ask you very quickly, did the person that read it buy it?
Wow.
No. So they didn't like it.
Wow.
So stop being a child.
Wow.
There are only 2 types of scripts. It's either great and wonderful, and anybody that reads it, buys it. It's really called an option agreement. Or it stinks. Nobody's going to tell you it stinks, because that's not being a nice person. They'll say things like, it's wonderful. I really like the idea. Your thought was good. The concept was good. Act 2 was a little weak. That's the thing you never want to hear. Act 2 is a little weak. That means you had no story. And you need to flesh it out a little bit. No, that means you wrote a horrible script. First, what you said, what's the roadmap? What's the formula? Of course, you got to start with the seed thought, an idea. But then you have to flesh it out. But you have to flesh it out knowing you're going to have very little to no money to make your first feature film. So you're going to be able to have enough money to do either a 1, 2, or 3 week shoot. So let's get a 90-page script that's wonderful. It's so easy for me to say it. It's so hard to do it, but it's very cheap to try. It's very cheap to try. So let's be positive and assume somebody in the Caribbean Caribbean. I don't know the proper pronunciation of my
Either one
apologies.
works. Either one works.
Potato, potato. But let's assume somebody in the Caribbean comes up with the great one location script. Totally doable. 90 pieces of paper. It doesn't cost more than a couple $100 to write it, getting the proper software. So let's assume you come up with it. Are we in Hollywood going to fund you? No, not on your first film.
Right.
Are you going to get an agent? No. An agent doesn't make your first sale. You've got to make your first film independently. And if it gets out there with Netflix, with Hulu, with Amazon, gets on Apple, then you'll get an agent to maximize your revenue for the second and third feature film. So the first, I'm being a little bit loud and rude, but the first formula is you're going to make a feature film. A 90-page, 90 minutes sort of means it's not a law. It doesn't have to be exactly 90, but
Yeah.
it sort of makes it feel like it's a movie.
Right.
So let's get a 90-page script that takes place in one location. Keep it simple. A dressed up stage play, dialogue oriented, and let's get the great script. Again, that's so easy to say the phrase, get the great script. That's the tough one to do. It's not tough to try. There's no excuse for not. Writers write, thinkers think. If you want to say you're a writer, move your fingers. Move your fingers, and nothing is written, it's rewritten. So let's start off with, as you said, the formula. Let's get the 90-page one location stage play that you own.
I'm loving this. I feel like I'm in a filmmaker's gym where, you know, your trainer is being hard on you and say, get off your butt. I love it. But what I love most.
I'm not going to stop for the 2 days. Absolutely, yes.
Yes.
Now, by the way, and thank you, you're a total pleasure. After you get the 90-page one location script, now let's go. You're going to have a little bit of money. Maybe 20,000, maybe 50,000, maybe 100,000. Stop talking bigwig like $1 million, 2 million, 3 million. Get out of that ridiculous thought. That's not going to happen on your first feature film. And you're going to have enough money for a 1, 2, or 3 week shoot. Wait, let's talk directing now. So screenwriting, you got the script, 90 pages, one location, every page, you just love it. You can't wait to turn the page, turn the page. That's cheap to try, no excuse not to. Now let's assume, we're being positive, you have enough money for a 3-week shoot. That's an 18-day shoot. You have a 90-page script, enough money for 3 weeks, stay off on Sunday, let everybody do their laundry.
Right.
You have an 18-day shoot. Now simple math. A 90-page script, an 18-day shoot, a shooting schedule of 5 pages every day. You'll be there for about 12 hours. So an hour to get there, get everybody into rhythm and going, an hour for lunch and let everybody take a break. So you have about 10 hours of shooting. During the 10 hours of shooting, and you're not moving anywhere, you're staying in one location. Let's get 5 pages in the can. So every 2 hours, you just have to get 1 page.
Yeah.
That's doable.
Yeah.
Now directing.
It is.
First, start with your master shot. Then get your 2 medium shots, reverse angle. Then get a couple of close-ups, a cutaway, and 1 or 2 establishing shots. That's about 7 setups in 2 hours. With a minimal crew, the local cameras, and if you have no cameras, use your iPhones. They're not humor. They are more than enough quality to do it. You'll spend about $300 with buying a couple of better lenses to put on the camera, and you never use the microphone that comes with the iPhone. And directing. So you get 5 pages a day.
You said never using microphones, so you invest in like separate microphones, that is.
We'll hire a sound man
Hire
in Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah.
that has their own equipment, paying that person $1,000 or $2,000 a week. Can you name, you probably, and I'm just now talking Trinidad and Tobago, but it could be any of the Caribbean nations.
Right.
You'll have your local film commissioner, they'll have a directory, and if they did their job, they'll have a list of 4 to 10 sound people in your nation that has their own equipment, and they're looking for jobs. And how many opportunities are there to get a job being a sound man, getting an opening title credit on a feature film in your nation? Close to zero. So you're amazing. So, and you're paying $1,000 to $2,000 a week. That's in the budget.
Yeah.
And proper food. So let's get the script, realistic budget, realistic shoot, knowing you're going to get 5 pages a day. If you only have enough money for a 2-week shoot, that's 13 shooting days. Then you got to get 7 pages a day. You cut out a medium shot, you cut out a close-up. And if you only have enough money for a 1-week shoot, which everybody has $20,000. And if
Yeah,
you don't
everybody
have
has $20,000. I mean, everybody's just, everybody has that.
go get the script.
Okay.
It'll pop up.
Okay.
It'll happen. Not when you start talking to money. Money comes when you don't need it. The job is you don't have to need it. You have the script. Not just a screenplay, the great script. And if all you have is enough money, $20,000 for a 1-week shoot,
Right.
that'll be actually over 2 weekends. So it's really a 9-day shoot.
Right.
A shooting schedule of 10 pages per day, or 1 page in the can every hour. And you'll be amazed how excited everybody in the cast and crew is, so amazingly enthralled about, we're making a movie in 1 week. The energy is all there. The it's all there. Wait, first, 1, get the script. Keep it simple.
Yes.
2, be realistic. You're not chasing Hollywood. And somebody brought somebody from Nigeria over to Trinidad and Tobago. We nickname him Nollywood. That's a nation of 200 million people.
Right.
You're a nation of 1.4, 1.5 million people. So in Nigeria, and 50% of the people have no televisions, are living out in the countryside. So what they realized in Nigeria, we can make a piece of crap, although they don't call it a piece of crap, never put it in theaters, and then we could sell maybe 200 to 400,000 DVDs at $2 each, and make 400 to 800,000, and we spent $25,000 to make it. That's Nollywood. That's Nigeria. You are not Nollywood in Nigeria. You're Trinidad and Tobago. That's not a role model. So let's get the script, keep it simple, 1 location, dressed up stage play, a realistic amount of money, 25,000, 100,000, 200, maybe 300,000. Here's an interesting thing. Hollywood is the only manufacturer industry in the world that tells the consumer what it costs to make their budget when they sell it. Do you know any other manufacturer in any other industry that tells the consumer what it costs to make their product?
No.
Only Hollywood.
Yeah.
Now, do you actually believe them? Ooh. We're liars.
Yeah.
We're not liars, we're marketing experts. So I'm
Not to
going
put
to
it
show
out
you.
there.
This is one of the, it's not even a secret. I'm just the only one that tells everybody. I'm going to show you how to make $1 million feature for 200,000 cash, which is a lot of money still.
Yeah.
But if somebody asks you what's your budget, grossly inflate the number, just like Hollywood.
One of the things that that you would have been talking about in a little bit was dialogue. And you would have mentioned even Nollywood, and I know Nollywood would have that whole issue of, probably a different accent, sometimes a little bit hard to understand what they're saying. Based on your experience of looking at Caribbean media and Caribbean film, do you feel as though there is a language barrier in terms of the way that Caribbean people speak, and that may pose as a problem in terms of us doing films and appearing in films?
No,
No.
absolutely not. It's a good excuse for
Oh, wow.
making stories that don't tell stories with bad dialogue. Oh, we got our accent. Oh, it's difficult. Well, we got subtitles then. If we can't hear it, we'll put the subtitles on. No, it's just an excuse.
Yeah.
But what you started on is the thing that nobody can teach. And in the 2-day film school on day one, I'll teach you how to write an excellent screenplay in 3 weeks, typing 10 minutes a day. I will deliver. But and I'll teach you how to write the theme, the title, the log line, the treatment, the step outline, the beat sheet, the first draft. Nothing is written, it's rewritten, and writing the second draft. The key is story and structure. That's not the key. I'll give you the blueprint, the formula. The key is having great dialogue. I can't teach that. I know it when I read it. I know it when I see it. I know it when I hear it. I can't type it.
Yeah.
I can give you the blueprint and the formulas. Now, maybe somebody in the Caribbean, God gifted with a gift of dialogue.
Yes.
Now, that person needs me to kick them in the butt and start moving your finger.
Yeah.
But stop coming up with some big budget screenplay that you're going to save the world. You can do that in your 5th feature film. On your first feature film, 90 pages, 1 location. The key is the great dialogue.
I love it. I love it. Have you had a lot of experience in terms of working with Caribbean media, or seen a lot of Caribbean short films or films in general?
No, first, I won't look at short films.
Wouldn't look at, I forgot. That is Antichrist. No short film.
I'm not going to make any money with it.
Yes. Yes. But in terms of films in general, no?
Ask me the question again, please.
In terms of Caribbean media, have you seen a lot of Caribbean feature films out there?
No, because they don't get out there to the marketplace. I'm not going to look at shorts. And you don't make 90-minute feature films that get distributed in North America because your stories aren't good enough. And if it gets to the marketplace, of course I would. Wait, I'm not meaning to be antagonistic or rude.
No, I get it. I get it. And I think it's really important to be honest, because you want to have persons have the truth so that they could do better, rather than you sugarcoat it and you leave them in the same position that they're in.
Everybody that makes something, it'll have dissolves, it'll have fades, it'll have wardrobe, it'll have props, it'll have titles, it'll have music, it'll have audio, it'll have sound, it'll probably cut together. But the key is the story and the dialogue. The story and the dialogue. So every nation in the world, whether it's Kazakhstan, whether it's Cuba, whether it's Russia, where it's Singapore, everybody knows how to make something. But the key is, how do I make something that's a feature film that can make some money? And then on the second day of the class, I teach marketing and how to get the acquisition executives. Every distributor in North America, and now all the platforms and the cable networks, know that anybody in every nation can make something super cheap. So it's going to be a steal. We'd love to buy it. So all these distributors, all these cable networks, all these programmers have buyers.
Yes.
The name of the buyer is called an acquisition executive. They acquire independent films. And there are probably 3,000 film festivals in the world going on every year. Now, how many of those film festivals get about 50 to 100 acquisition executives to come to that festival? Nobody in Jamaica, nobody in Bermuda, they don't go. Unless you want to send me $5,000, 2 first-class tickets and 5-star hotel, then of course we'll come. So, but there are about 3,000 festivals. There are about 12 that mean something. That's it. That's the festival circuit. Sundance, Toronto, Telluride, Cannes, Venice, etc. Now, how many people in the Caribbean have gotten one of their feature films made that got accepted to Sundance, Toronto, Telluride, Cannes? Pretty close to zero.
Dov, I'm loving the conversation. We're streaming live on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram. We have to go pay some bills. We have a quick ad coming up. So just hold on for a bit and we're definitely going to be back.
My pleasure.
We're back, guys. We are back to making moves with the great Dov Simens, a veteran in filmmaking and teaching filmmaking. And I salute you for all the great work that you have done in the industry and you're still doing. I mean, you're an author from Reel to Deal. You are a film teacher. You have all these wonderful accolades in terms of filmmaking. I mean, there are so many great things to be said about you. And before we went to the break, I would have mentioned, I feel like you were kicking my butt in terms of, just giving me the reel on what it takes to make a feature film. And I love that you were being so real about it. Because I feel as though, we sugarcoat and we say things to persons like, oh, you have a great script, or all you need is talent and you're going to be okay. And we lie to young people making feature films or other persons making feature films rather than hitting them with the hard truth that it is going to take some work. It is going to take you having an investor buy-in. I love that you said that what the standard for a great script is when you have buy-in. That is what determines whether it's a great script or not, whether you have buy-in, and I love it. One of the things that I wanted to get into and I am curious about is this 2-day workshop that you're going to have here in Trinidad. And we're so excited to have you from October 21st to the 23rd at the Mount Hope Auditorium. So tell me what the people can expect from this workshop.
You can expect walking in and 2 days later walking out with, I got it.
Yes.
I know what to do.
Love it.
Wait,
Love it.
now I'll be specific. Day one, it's focusing on, let's make a feature film. Let's just make it. Day one, first is screenwriting, then directing, budgeting and scheduling, shooting, lighting, editing, and getting your first feature film project done, with it being somewhere between a 1 to a 3 week shoot. On budgets as high as $300,000 most for a 3 week shoot, that you'll call $1 million feature if anybody asks you your budget in marketing, to as low as about 20 or 25 thou with iPhones or GoPros or whatever with a separate sync sound man. So day one, the focus is let's make your first feature film. Let's make your first feature film. No more talk about short. And no more talk about this idea that you have that you think is so great.
Yes.
Because I'll be realistic. Go ahead, tell me your idea. And if I love it, I'll do it without you. Nobody
Wow.
owns it. Nobody owns an idea.
That's
Nobody
true.
owns a thought.
You can't copyright it. You can't patent it.
No.
Yeah.
So you got to get the script. You've got to get the script, and you've got to get a script screenplay that you love and that somebody else loves. That starts it. So day one is let's be realistic. Let's make our first feature film. Starting off with idea to let's get the screenplay, to let's get the budget and schedule, to let's get the crew, let's get the director, let's know the shooting schedule, let's get the cameras, the lights, the equipment, and let's do the shoot. 1, 2, or 3 weeks and get it in the can. Then when it's done, let's do the post-production, the picture edit, the sound edit, ADR, Foley, M&E, music score, and your mix and the re-recording session, and get your final, now what's called, it used to be called a print, now it's called a DCP, but something that you can send to proper festivals for projection. So let's start the class off and let's get the project made. Let's get it made. The second day, though, is now your film is made. Now we're going to focus on marketing, selling, distributing, and I'll end the class on that day with financing.
Yeah.
First, you got to know how to make it.
Yeah.
First, you got to know what the nickel dime costs are, and you got to know where the profits will come from if there are ever to be profits. Then you'll be a little bit grounded to get the financing. You have more than enough well-to-do people in each of your nations. Maybe they're called doctors or dentists, but they all have $20,000, $50,000 that they want to be a Renaissance man or woman and partner with a project that's a feature film. That's there. No guarantee, it's a gamble. So day one is let's make it. Day two, let's sell it. Day two, let's sell it is what I was saying before with my little over the top yelling. There are about 3,000 festivals. Only about 20 at the most mean anything. And everybody is an award-winning filmmaker.
Yeah.
And in Hollywood, if we hear you're an award-winning filmmaker, we don't want to work with you.
Why not?
Because everybody wins an award at every festival. Everybody does.
Right.
It's nothing wrong with it, but it's not marketable. Did you get into Sundance? Did you get into Cannes? No. That's marketable.
Yeah.
Oh, you have an award-winning film from the Cuba Festival or Jamaica or Dominican Republic? Congratulations. You know, that's nice. That's wonderful. I'm sure your
But it means
parents like
nothing.
it. It's not marketable.
Yeah.
I got to get you to marketable. Now, here are the 20 festivals. In the class, I'll go, here are the names of the festivals. Here's what month they're in. Here's the program director. Here's how to submit. And how many people from the Caribbean are submitting? Very few to none. So if your film really does tell that true story, it's just all I can talk is I think God is with you, and I believe you'll get in.
Yeah.
And now you're an official Sundance entrant. An official, I don't know what the official means, but it's a marketable phrase.
Right.
Then the next I got to explain the revenue streams. First, of course, there's theatrical. Stop saying the word film. Stop saying the word, I'm a filmmaker. Never, ever tell anybody ever again you're a filmmaker.
What am I supposed to say?
You're a producer.
Got it. Got
It's
it.
a simple, everybody knows what you are when you say you're a filmmaker. You're broke, you're out of work, and you're not going to date my daughter.
Got it. Love it. I'm loving it.
Producers, so you got to learn how to say 9 simple words. The 9 words are, hi, what's your name? If somebody asks you what's your name, you're at a social function, and you say you're a filmmaker, they don't want to talk to you. They'll be polite, but they're going to walk away. But now if you say the magic word, hi, what's your name? You say your name, and then they say the standard thing, which is normal. Well, what do? And now you don't say the word filmmaker. Now you say the word, oh, I'm a producer.
And they give you their daughter.
I bet you they want to talk to you. And you know what the question is they're going to ask you is what scares you? Oh, really? What have you produced?
Right.
What are you producing? And your fear of dealing with that question is what will always keep you out of the movie industry. Now you're going to say the word, I am a producer, and they're going to ask you that question that you know that's going to follow. And now you're going to say the 9 words. Hi, what have you produced or what are you producing? And now you say 9 words. Write them down. I have numerous projects in various stages of development. Oh, really? What? Now they want to talk to you, don't they?
Yeah.
Oh, really? What are they? And now you'll say feature films. And now there's a fair chance they'll ask you a very rude question. Oh, what's the budget? Which, by the way, it is none of your budget, but none of your business what my budget is. But now they'll ask, what's your budget? And you know what you're going to tell them? Under $1 million. Is $20,000 under $1 million?
Yes. I see what you did there. I see what you
Welcome to Hollywood.
Yes, I love it. I love it.
So the second day, I got to teach you the business. You've made your first feature film on the first day. On the second day, I got to teach you the business of talking, of marketing and distributing, and the revenue streams. Now you're a producer, you're not a filmmaker. And now you make a film, you put it in, you get it distributed, put in theaters. They don't say the word film anymore. Now they call it a movie. Stop saying the word film. You got to get it made into a movie. See, when your feature film gets picked up and put in a theater, they charge admission, don't they? It's not free. It's not a toy. It's a commodity. It's a business. They charge now ballpark $12 or $15. Let's call it $15. In America, if we market and only get 2 out of 100 people to come, with 350 million people, that means we just got 7 million people paying $15 each. That's about $100 million just grossed in one weekend. Did you hear the word gross?
Wow.
That's not the word profit. So we always talk the high number, what it grossed, what it made. That's not the word profit, 100 mil. Where do the profits come from? The theater owners collected that 100 million. The real estate owners collected that 100 million. How many people went to see it? 2 out of 100. What do the other 98 people do that saw all the marketing, think it's a movie, whatever reason in their life didn't go to the theater that weekend, but they don't say it, but they think it's worth $15. Now they're going to look at HBO, Showtime, DVD, streaming, on demand, and they'll pay $1 to $3 to see it there. So this commodity that we told you it's worth $15, the profits are going to come from all the ancillary revenue streams that are going to look at it for $1 to $3, not the 15 that's there. So then I'll teach you, here's on demand, here's what's called premium on demand, transactional on demand, subscription on demand. Those are three different revenue streams. Then there's, other than theatrical, then there's DVD, then there's pay cable, then there's basic cable, then there's TV. Oh, let's talk about logos. Let's talk about product placement. Oh, let's talk about the music rights. Let's talk about, it's a cash cow. If you get a film made into a perceived value that people think it's a movie, it's a movie, it's a movie. And here are the revenue streams. Now that you understand how to make it, you understand you got to get to that major festival and get the acquisition execs to come to the screening, and you know where the revenue streams are. You'll be able to talk to a well-to-do private investor, talking maturely and explaining the business plan and getting the financing. Still not easy. The two hardest things in the world in the movie industry is to get the great script with the wonderful dialogue that takes place in one location. That's one. And two is get money.
Yeah.
Those are the two hardest things to get. And so the second day, teaching you the business of marketing and distributing, the revenue streams. And then towards the end of the second day, we'll focus on how to put together a business plan to get a couple of private investors that you can fund $20,000 to $300,000 to make your 1 to 3 week shoot. And if it loses every penny in the world, it doesn't hurt anybody.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't want that. And stop thinking they can write it off. No investor wants to write anything off. We want cash flow. So the 2-day film school, day one, make it. Day two, sell it. And then Mr. Edwards has me there for, I'll be there on the third day on private one-to-one conversations with people where I won't be loud, I won't be rude, but everybody has their dream, their vision, their idea. And I'll spend whatever Mr. Edwards believes, 10 minutes, 30 minutes with each one to get them focused on, this is your focus, this is your next step, here's reality.
Right.
So that'll be the 3 days and the 2 days with the class. And everybody that's the participant, I recommend highly come with, pay for not just yourself, 1 or 2 associates.
Mm-hmm.
When you have 2 or 3 people thinking along the same line, you'll fuel each other and get it made.
I love that you said that, because one of the things that I wonder about, I once heard somebody say, you go not as far as your dream, but you go as far as your team. How important is it in making a feature film? How important is your team in that, or having the right team?
You need somebody to bounce with you. You need somebody to say, let's go forward. You need somebody to say, no, I don't like that. No, this is what I want to do. But let's keep moving. You got, that's sort of the commitment. The most important team is first it's up to you to get the script.
Mm-hmm.
Close to no money. Just write it in the right format, be it final draft, be it word magic, be it writer's duet, be it Celtics, whichever one. Get the right one. Ballpark, they're all going to be around $200. Get the rights, get the script. Then, of course, you're going to start chasing money. But the key with the team, who's your cinematographer? Mm-hmm. Not everybody playing on the director. Directors starting off their career, they don't know what to do.
Yeah.
It's the cinematographer. You probably have 7 to 10 decent cinematographers in Trinidad, Tobago, shooting commercials. They know what to do.
Yeah.
So for your team, get your script. Okay, you can be the director or get a partner that says they're the director, but you need a little bit of a sizzle reel. You need somebody that also knows really how to make things. And that's going to be the cinematographer. And that's sort of the team. That's sort of the team.
In terms of, you said cinematographer, in terms of actually making the feature film, who are some of the key expertise that I may need to hire?
Just the cinematographer.
Just the cinematography.
You're busy with get the script, get a little bit of money and cast the actors and find the location. You have no more time to work anything else. You'll stumble with a production manager or line producer and a cinematographer. Once you get your production manager / line producer and a cinematographer, they hire everybody else.
Got you.
Stop thinking about all these little resumes. You're overwhelming yourself. Let's get the script. It's hard enough to get the great script. Let's then get some money, little bit of money, nothing easy. To get that money, you'll have a cinematographer. And I bet you he has a 3 to 5 minute demo reel of all the commercials. So that's your short, his demo reel. And you'll book the movie theater in downtown Trinidad Tobago. You'll find the investors and you book the theater for about a half an hour. You have the script, you have the business plan, you have a cinematographer, you show the 5 minute demo reel. I might even bring in a couple of local actors and have them read a scene. And then you turn to the well-to-do individual and ask, how much can I put you down for?
Yeah.
Ask for the money and shut up.
So
So you were asking the team, it just feels good to be with 2 or 3 other people.
Yeah.
And just friends, just buddies. That's it.
I've heard. Sorry.
No, then cinematographer, production manager, and they'll hire everybody else.
Yeah, I've heard a school of thought say, oh, I have this really, really, really great idea, but I don't want to do a feature film because I see this being a big movie sometime. And I feel like this is going to ruin it if I compromise and do a feature film here. What do you think about that?
Don't ask me to work with you. You're not paying me anything. You want to, our message in Hollywood, this is a business.
Yeah.
Cold show business. We don't say it to you directly, but we say, if you have a message and you want to change the world, call Western Union. That's not our business. We're in the business of renting seats and selling downloads and popcorn. And if you have some passion of your heart, absolutely do it, but with your own money.
Yeah.
Do it. But don't ask anybody to fund it.
Yeah.
When we know we're not going to make any money back. Didn't mean being rude.
That's okay. I don't think you are rude. I think you're just very, very honest and very real. Final words, Mr. Simons, to any of the, I'm not going to say filmmakers, producers, budding producers out there listening.
No more budding. No more budding.
They are producers.
They are producers. If you don't believe in yourself, you're not going to do it. You are a producer.
Final words to them.
Get the script. Keep it simple. Get some nickel dime money. 1 to 3 week shoot. If you really have talent and you're a good person, God likes you. Wants you to be rich and famous. So who have you helped today?
Wow. Wow. See, I love the God factor. Guys, Dov Simens, an acclaimed Hollywood film school teacher, and he has made so many wonderful films as well. We are so happy to have had him on the show this afternoon, and we just want to again let you know that we are going to be having him here in Trinidad October 21st to the 23rd. He's going to be doing a 2-day workshop. This is as real as it gets and as close as he can get you to pitching something out there. Because like you would have mentioned, the very first feature film that you do, it's going to be you pitching it. And he's going to try to get you as close to that as possible. And I'm so happy to have him as close to that. Yes.
1 second thank you very much for Steve Edwards calling me and trying to get Trinidad and Tobago to get some culturism and art and setting it up there. And him knowledgeably understanding that you're only 1,400,000 people. The key is to get your government to fund a program for the Caribbean Movie Studio for 5 to 6 feature films per year that are 1 to 3 week shoots. Why does the Trinidad and Tobago government want to do it? Tourism. Tourism. You have hit rock bottom in tourism. Basically, every tourist that comes to Trinidad and Tobago leaves $1,500. Last year, you went down the last 3 years, and it's not just COVID, you went from 60,000 down to 20,000 tourists. So if we establish, and Mr. Edwards can establish the Caribbean Movie Studio in Trinidad and Tobago, you'll go up to 50,000, 60,000, 100,000 tourists. That's $3 million a year that the government will fund the studio. If we go up in tourism, we'll bring back 50 million to 100 million every year. The Caribbean Movie Studio, please thank everybody, Steve Edwards, for what he's trying to do. He just brought me over to try to shake people up to get into action. It's Steve Edwards, it's not me.
Thank you to Stephen Edwards, and thank you again to you, Mr. Dov Simens. And I really hope that our government is in fact listening, because
I expect you with 3 of your associates to be in the class.
Yes.
You know you're going to be there.
Yes, yes, yes.
Happy
Thank
day.
you so much. Have a good night.
God bless. God bless. Happy filmmaking.
Thank you. To all our Making Moves family, don't go anywhere. In a really short time, we're going to be back with Mr. Stephen Edwards.